And I'm sorry for the blunt language, but I'm not the one who threw the energy first. Y'all come at me first. And part of me thinks that's why you actually don't want to interact with us in person, is because you know you're not going to meet terrible people and you want so badly to be like, they were terrible people. That's just not going to be the case.
Hi Curslings, I'm back with another update. The reviled Jenkins have been kicked out of their motel for breaking occupancy. Now, to help you understand just how we got here, we need to rewind a bit. Late Monday, Stephanie posted this video showing herself and Drew unpacking their belongings into a single motel room with 2 queen-size beds.
You don't say anything.
Doctor, and he would help you get to an open shit and get the staying alive shit.
Focus.
Yeah.
You hear me?
You.
Okay. You want to taste like blood?
Given their situation and the audible chirping from the fire alarm, it was obvious that they weren't in a motel that had been provided by social services. Worse, this beeping fire alarm was an indication that wherever they were, it was likely very seedy. As according to these people on Reddit, residential smoke alarms aren't supposed to be used in commercial properties like a hotel or motel. Then there was the question as to why it was chirping. Was it because of a low battery, or had the battery been removed? Had the device been effectively disabled? Either way, Stephanie and Drew filmed themselves using small appliances in their motel room per their sub-only TikTok, which is a fire hazard. A massive fire hazard. Drew also set up his PlayStation 5, because of course he did. And yes, that is The Walking Dead playing on the TV with 5 children under the age of 10 in the room. So it didn't take very long for people to start figuring out which motel in Portland that the reprehensible Jenkins were staying at. And by lunchtime on the East Coast, my time, I had been sent multiple messages with 2 possible locations, which as soon as I got them, I immediately shared with family. Later, on Tuesday, I would also forward that information to Sophie and to Shaylin for law enforcement purposes regarding the cats. My hope was that by helping family maintain where the kids are, they would be able to step in swiftly should they need to, especially when it appears that Stephanie and Drew left their oldest 2 children unattended in that motel while they went to Drew's doctor's appointment. He got blood work. They're acting like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Now we just wait for results because that's the most we can do. Hopefully everything's okay. But blood work takes a couple days, so just say your prayers.
But it definitely appears that they left 2 children unattended in that motel room. A motel that is scary bad, as it is well known in Portland for drugs and sex workers. And to help you understand, Curslings, just how bad that motel is, let's read some of its reviews. Like this one, which says, hookers out front, which probably means their pimps were not far, definitely not safe for families. Another review says, do not go here. This roach motel was horrible. I was not from the area and I did not know that this was a place for prostitution. There were people loitering around and using drugs. I did not feel safe here and asked for a refund. They refused. Another review talks about drunk people passed out on the sidewalk and cars with broken windows. This one, the reviewer includes photos, writing, the experience was overwhelmingly bad. I ended up with bed bugs and hundreds of bites all over my body. Another one writes, homeless people live here. Smells horrible. The bathroom dirty with hair. The owner's not responsible for anything. Loud all the time. They get high all of the time in front of everyone. Then there's this one. The vibe was deeply depressing and scary, reeking of smoke and weed. Rooms sounded like violence and drug deals were going on. We wanted to turn around immediately, but we had to wait wait for a ride and didn't feel safe waiting outside. The room had blood stains everywhere. Insects, spider webs, burns, mold, etc. Also, so many posts about cockroaches and bed bugs. Then there's this one where they talk about a staff member being quote unquote zooted. That has to do with writing, room was visibly dirty, mattress had black spots, mold or bed bugs. That's a great, loud construction for hours nonstop, etc. Then there's this one. If you value your life, safety, or cleanliness, don't stay here. There's a cash in advance deposit, smells of paint, sketchy people lurking at all hours, and the office worker barricades himself in the office so no one can get in, criminal or guest. This guy's review included photos of the pillows, which are horrible. And then this one. The entire place looked like it hadn't been cleaned in weeks. The floor was dirty, the beds were stained with mud and dirt all over. There were stains, handprints, and dirt all over the walls. Bugs everywhere. A hole in the wall in the shower. The toilet was covered in dirt and mud, and there was a huge gap between the bottom of the door and the floor. The window had no screen or locking mechanism. We left because we were afraid of safety and weren't offered a refund. By the way, this is the gap under the door. Then there's this one. It's a total dump. Homeless people are everywhere outside. The atmosphere is terrifying, and I felt genuinely scared when I arrived. And on and on and on and on. Now, I wasn't the only person who knew where the reviled Jenkins were. And by Wednesday, the hotel's address was everywhere. It was all over TikTok, it was all throughout comment sections, it was all over Facebook, everywhere. And I just want to put out there that the Reddit mods of the Resilient Jenkins snark sub have done an incredible job trying to suppress that information for the express purpose of the children's safety. It didn't matter though, because the cat was out of the bag. Milo had been found and the internet was very fucking mad. And quickly, Stephanie's unmoderated Facebook comments were filled with calls to action to contact the motel. Other creators would share the reviews and talk about the location, including this review that may or may not have been left by a troll. Then this comment appeared in a creator's comment section. I'm not quite sure whose. Seemingly from the motel's official TikTok account, or at the very least, a troll pretending to be the motel, stating that they were going to go check now. I was also informed that the motel has received at least a dozen phone calls asking about the reviled Jenkins. The front desk was actually confused as to why folks kept calling and asking if they were there. For the record, I did not call. I would never call, but I do have it on good authority from others who did call. Then Stephanie posted this angry TikTok claiming that they'd been kicked out of the motel and blaming it on the haters.
I find it interesting you follow us around public and don't want to say hi. Y'all so bold in them comments, but you won't say nothing to our faces. And that's not even enough. Y'all had to make a bunch of hateful, untrue calls to the hotel we're staying at and get us kicked out. How the fuck miserable you gotta be in your own life to come at a family that's not doing anything to you?
Now, I don't know how true this is. I don't know if she's lying or not, because she's already lied once yesterday about claiming to have spoken with animal control, which multiple people involved with animal control in OHS have confirmed would never happen. So I don't know how true this is. However, I do want all of you to keep in mind that they were over occupancy, they were over capacity for that single room. They were using small appliances, cooking appliances in that room with a disabled fire alarm, which is a huge safety concern. And they left children alone in that scary Roach Motel, which is known for sex workers and drugs. And apparently, just up the road at another motel, there have been multiple homicides and even human trafficking. But it's the internet's fault. Maybe it is. But maybe if these two morons were responsible adults, they wouldn't have done all of the above. Maybe they would have paid their rent, gotten jobs, made actual efforts to prevent homelessness. Especially when Stephanie is definitely making at least a few grand from social media, like this breakdown from Bayou Barbie supposes.
So let's just say on her videos that have 1 million, let's say 10% of those are qualified, because I do know a lot of people go straight to her page. So let's round down 10%. That's $100 per video that she would earn if her RPM is $1. She doesn't always post once a day. Sometimes she'll go like 3 days without posting, but sometimes she'll post 2 or 3 videos in one day. Let's say she posts 1 video a day for 30 days and she gets 1 million views and 10% of those are qualified. So she makes $100 off that video. That's $3,000 a month. Now let's talk about her subs. When a creator has sub-only videos, if you click on that video and try to watch it and you're not subscribed to them, it will give you the option to subscribe, and this is what it looks like. As you can see at the very top, it says that she has 213 subscribers and it's $5.39 per month for the first month. Then it goes up to $5.99. Let's pretend everybody is in their first month. $5.39 times 213. I'm bad at math. Here's the calculator. $1,148. So let's just say she's making $100 a video, 1 video a day, $3,000 plus her subs is $4,148. $4,148. That would pay their $2,000 a month rent.
So this outcome doesn't surprise me. It's one I was personally hoping could be avoided because there are children involved. But with the internet out for blood right now, it's not surprising. Stephanie and Drew really should have watched the Netflix docuseries Don't Fuck with Cats, because now there's nothing they can do but stay offline, because every post they make will now be scrutinized down to the pixel. The entire city of Portland is on the lookout for them. They are literally the most hated TikTok family in America right now, if not the entire G7. As for their renewed homelessness, Stephanie tripled down on their refusal to let the kids stay with family, calling both Desiree and Mama Rise abusive homes.
You sit there and say you want to do what's best for the children, but yet you want to send them to 2 abusive homes.
Apparently, the kids don't want to leave, as though they want to live in roach motels with drugs and sex workers.
You think it's better to split up a perfectly happy family and send kids to homes they don't even want to be in, to live with people they want nothing to do with. I mean, just make it make sense. These kids are happy where they're at. Home is wherever the fuck we are together.
Stephanie then threatened her mother, like the good little narcissist she is, telling her that if she continues to speak out against her, she will use her platform to put on display all of the family skeletons, as though Stephanie's own skeletons aren't already mortifying.
Kids would most definitely not be happier with my mother. Like I said, they want nothing to do with her. They still remember all the trauma you brought onto us, Mom. I'm trying to give you that opportunity to back off now, or I'll start saying some shit. I know you'll go and try to use that, well, you're the only... I find it interesting you follow...
Anyway, all this video has proven is that Stephanie and Drew are unfit parents. They're choosing the most dangerous options imaginable rather than seek government support. Likely because they don't want to give up schmokin' the devil's lettuce, if not worse. They are also refusing help from family. Drew has family that doesn't seem to want anything to do with this situation.
But let's address you. Let's address you, because you keep wanting to have your name tied to the Jenkins. And y'all not even married. You need to address the shit that you got dealing with, because from what I know, the one that you're actually married to is in jail because of doing what he did to his mama and what he did to a little girl. That's what you need to be addressing, right? Because nobody in the Jenkins family wants you tied to them. Let's be clear about that. Let's be real clear about that. Matter of fact, if Andrew's dad was around, because one thing he didn't play about was me and his first grandchild, he would have chewed you up, spit you out, you and Andrew, because he was nothing to play with at all. At all. And you want to have your name tied to them, and nobody in that family wants you tied to them.
Stephanie has family who doesn't want anything to do with Drew.
But make no mistake, I have absolutely no room in my heart, in my home, or anywhere in my... I just can't even go there. Drew's not welcome here. He's not welcome here.
The writing is on the wall. I don't know how much more obvious this could be for these two idiots to understand. DS, Day-Day, could have his own bedroom right now, and the other kids would with Grandma Rise. But instead, these two unemployed losers are dragging their 5 kids, including a 2-year-old and a barely 3-month-old baby, through this, to roach motels, with sex workers and drugs and violence and human trafficking up the road. And oh my God, I have no idea why DHS isn't doing something, but it's crystal clear that those kids are in grave, grave danger the longer the resilient jackasses continue to subject them to their selfishness.
Can you imagine the trauma they feel? Suddenly grandma's not in their life, and they're probably wondering why. They probably want to know why. What the hell's going on? Why doesn't grandma love us? And who knows what she's telling them. And yeah, I am trying. I actually got into it last night with CPS because I feel like they don't give a shit. They don't care. You know what they had the balls to ask me? Well, do you know this is happening? Or are you just suspicious? And I said, not only do I know this is happening, about 1 million people know it's happening because they're posting it all over the damn internet. I don't know how to feel about all of this, but I can tell you one thing for sure. I wish grandparents had more rights in the state of Oregon. I wish there was more I could do. I wish whatever this thing is between me and Stephanie, I mean, I'm so confused. She has 5 siblings, and I have a great relationship with all 5 of them. So this trauma that she's talking about, I mean, I don't want to say it's not real for her because I'm not going to take away how she feels. I just don't get it. Was I a perfect mom? Hell no. But what the fuck is she doing? And why, when I'm right here wanting to help her?
Unfortunately, we're just going to have to watch and see what happens. But obviously, I am hoping that something is done quickly for the sake of the kids. Anyway, I had a longer update in the works. I was in the process of editing it when this dropped, and this just sort of blew that one apart. So I'm going to try to salvage the other recording and then try to split it into 2 smaller updates because Stephanie has been crashing out really hard on Facebook. But until I get that done, I want to thank everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing and so on. I appreciate all of you, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!